Hi everyone, Aiden here with etrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Yakima BigCatch. This is going to be a saddle style kayak carrier that mounts to your roof rack or a ladder rack, giving you a way to carry a larger, heavier kayak hull side down on your roof. Let's check it out. So a saddle style carrier is going to be a great way to carry one larger kayak on your roof. The saddles are adjustable to get those bigger width boats up onto your roof and conformed to it. And we'll talk about some of the other styles of kayak carriers and what their strengths and weaknesses may be a little bit later on here. But if you've got a fishing kayak and you're looking for a way to carry it, this might be a great way to do it. The carrier can support a 150-pound weight capacity, and the saddles themselves are fairly lightweight but also very durable. So if you are using this in conjunction with a roof rack, which weight capacities are typically around 165 for, do be sure to consult that if you're carrying it on a roof rack. It should be able to carry that just fine. If you're using it with a ladder rack like we are today, that's probably going to be the preferred way, just because you can get them out a little bit further to support the larger boat, and the weight capacities are typically higher. Taking a closer look at the saddles, you're going to get 4 of these in your kit. So you can see on each one how it conforms to the edge of the boat, getting a nice cradle on the kayak. We've got a good pass through here for our straps. And if I shake it around, you can see nothing's budging. It's very secure. So I don't have to worry about it as much when I'm going down the road because I know it's going to be nice and solid. They clamp around the crossbars using this tool-free hand knob to tighten down, and have a set screw for locking. That's going to basically bind itself against the hand knob here and prevent it from being turned. And you'll need the specially keyed Allen key included with your kit to operate this set screw. So that's the only tool you need. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to. The whole setup process and getting it clamped down is tool-free. All the tie-down straps you need are included in the kit. There's some cases where for the bow and stern, you might need something like a hood anchor or a hatch anchor if you don't have something solid to hook the S-hooks into. Hood anchors are available here at etrailer if you need them, but it's really going to depend on the vehicle you're using this with, because for our vehicle today, we were able to find S-hook spots on both the front and the back. If I were to make another recommendation for saddle style carriers, I would maybe look into the Yakima Showdown. It's going to hold the boat in a similar manner, maybe not as much adjustability in the width of those pads, but it uses a built-in load assist. You will need some crossbar overhang to make it work, so that when you bring the load assist arms down, it doesn't make contact with the side of your vehicle. But for a heavier boat, that helps a lot when loading or unloading. That's the one problem with this if you are pushing that weight limit. Loading it by yourself, for me, is probably going to be next to not possible, just because of the weight of the boat and getting it up so high. The felt pads on the back saddles do help with sliding the boat very smoothly on there, but getting it up there to begin with is a task in itself, and having an extra set of hands is really helpful. So when looking at a saddle style carrier like this, there are other options for different styles of carriers. This saddle style kind of lends itself to the bigger boats much better. You can adjust the width of these on your crossbars, and they hold that larger hull much better. Something you might look into for a lighter kayak, maybe not a fishing kayak, is going to be something like a J-style carrier, which is typically just one cradle on each crossbar. It holds the boat more upright, but it lets you get more things onto the crossbars. So if you do have a couple lighter boats and you're going with friends, that's the way I would go personally. I like J-style a lot, but for the heavier fishing kayak, something like this is going to be probably the best option. As for getting these installed, it's going to be a very straightforward process and pretty much tool-free thanks to Yakima's clamp system. You just clamp around the crossbars, and we'll show you how we got one of them installed. It's going to be the same process for the other 3. The first thing you want to do for the install is set your clamps at the proper setting. So we're using Yakima's HD bars right now, so we're going to pop this bottom piece of the clamp into the lowest slot, but you could use either one of these other slots for a more narrow crossbar. And once this is all together, that's kind of what it's going to look like. These 2 tabs right here will line up with 2 holes on the bottom of the saddle, popping through like that, and setting it on the crossbar with the raised section towards the outside so it kind of holds the boat a bit nicer. When it's around the crossbar, you can obviously set it to your desired position and take the threaded T-bar, poking it up through the clamp and through the top of the carrier, making sure everything aligns as it should, and making sure that the T is going horizontally so that it binds itself against the bottom of the clamp, and your hand knob will just thread onto the end of those threads, tightening down and clamping this whole assembly to the crossbar. Whenever you got it fully tightened down, I like to give it a little shake test, make sure it's not going to budge anywhere, and then you're good to go. There is going to be a small set screw on the outside for security that you can go ahead and tighten down if you want to keep these in place and keep people from messing with them. When you do that, just make sure that the hand knob is at a 45-degree angle so the set screw goes into that hand knob properly. Optionally, you can add these felt pads to the rear saddles just by pulling the paper backing off to reveal the adhesive and sticking it to those saddles. This can be an aid for loading and unloading, allowing the kayak to slide a little bit more freely along the back and not get so bound up on these rubber pads here. As for loading up the kayak, especially with a heavier fishing kayak, an extra set of hands is probably going to be needed. Some sort of load assist device would probably come in very handy here, but we'll see how those felt pads perform in allowing the kayak to slide freely. But we're gonna get it up onto that front crossbar and try to push it into place. And once it gets to the front here, it's starting to hit those rubber pads and actually grip it quite a bit. So the felt did let it slide very smoothly, but towards the front here, we are needing a little bit of extra assistance to get it loaded the rest of the way. Does that feel good there? To properly tie down the kayak, you're gonna have two sets of straps. One is going to be a cam buckle strap with a thick rubber pad going around the cam buckle. That's going to be the thing that secures the main part of the kayak here, the hull. And that's just going to have the cam buckle up top, have the strap pass through one of the saddles, over top the kayak, through the other saddle, and back to the buckle. And once that's through the cam buckle, you can pull it tight, tie up all of your excess strap, and repeat that on the other set of saddles. The next set of straps is going to be for the bow and stern. They are required for regular transport and are going to consist of a couple parts. This shorter strap here, which will go to a secure point on our kayak, feeding through itself to tie down to something like the handle, and then the longer strap with S-hook for the vehicle side. Once that's around the handle, I can pull it tight and feed the longer strap through the buckle. We'll go up through the middle slot and down through the front slot so those teeth engage on the strap whenever we're pulling it tight, just like that. And the end over here with the padding and the loop, we'll get one of the S-hooks that are included in your kit. This will need to go to a secure point on your vehicle, such as a safety chain loop on your hitch or a tow hook at the front end. If you don't have a secure point on the front of your vehicle, a hood anchor is often needed for various vehicles to have a solid anchor point. And once you're satisfied with how tight the bow and stern is, you'll have to do the same thing and tie up the excess strap so it's not flying around freely. And remember to repeat all these steps for the front side, and after that, the boat will be fully tied down. And after everything's tied down, I always like to make sure it's secure by giving it a good old-fashioned shake test, making sure that all of the points of movement and the parts that we tied down are secure, nothing's shifting around on the roof rack or the ladder rack, and I'd say we're good. But that'll do it for our look at the Yakima BigCatch here at eTrailer. Thanks for watching.